Good afternoon, everybody. So today we're going to find slope using a second strategy. So far we've been able to find slope when we have a line and a graph, and we can do it by counting the rise over the run on a graph. But there's another way to do it too, and that's by using the points or the ordered pairs. So we're going to focus a lot today on this equation that's on the top of your notes. We already know that slope is the rise over the run, right? And just as a way to remember, you do not have to draw this, but I just want to give you a quick memory, and these are not straight lines at all. But you would have a coordinate plane, right? And then you might have a slope, a line that goes through your coordinate plane, and you would have 2 points somewhere on that line, and then you would find the rise over the run, and you would count that, and then your slope would be a fraction. So let's say that this was 4 and this was 3. Your rise over your run would be 4 over 3. All right, so that's how we have found slope already. Now we're going to find slope using an equation. And so we're going to use this formula right here quite a bit. In order to find the rise with 2 points, we use our y coordinates, right? And remember, this is our y line, the one that goes up and down. So that would make sense. We're just taking 1 point minus another point to figure out how much we rise. And then we're figuring out our run. And we use our x line to do that. So we're finding out from here to here, and we subtract that to figure out what the run is. All right, so here are the steps, and I've put both of these things in our example problems today to guide us through. So our steps are to label each set of points, and you're going to get ordered pairs today, and that's how we're doing it instead of the graph. And then you'll fill in the formula with your labeled points, you'll solve, and you'll simplify. So it's pretty simple, and once we get going, I think you'll see that. All right, so let's move on to our first page here. So I've got our steps written out right over here, and our formula is right over here. Now this formula, I'm going to give to you a little bit, and I'm going to have you write out, because it's really important. Just as we remember that slope equals the rise over the run, it also equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to show you what that means right now. Excuse me. All right, so our first job here is to label our points. And so remember, whatever I write on these pages, I want you to write as well. So whenever we have an ordered pair, guys, an ordered pair is always x, comma, y, right? And what we know, and I'm actually even going to erase that comma so it doesn't get us too confused, but since this is our first ordered pair, we're going to call it x1 and y1 because it's our first ordered pair. And then this second ordered pair is still an x and a y, so since it's our second ordered pair, we're going to call it x2, y2. Pretty simple so far, right? All right, so now we're going to use that formula that I just talked about, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're just going to take these numbers and replace them in our formula. So what we notice is that we're subtracting our second set of ordered pair from our first set of ordered pair. And we put our y's on top and subtract those, and we put our x's on the bottom and subtract those. So for both sets, I'm starting with the second pair, okay? So I'm going to take y2, which is -1, minus y1, which is +2. So I go -2. And then I'm going to do my x's. So here's x2. So I go 4 minus x1. Well, here's x1. So -5. All right. So we've labeled each set of points. we've filled in the formula with your labeled points, so now we have to solve. So then right here, we're just simply subtracting. And you're going to have to use your knowledge of negatives, or you're going to double check your work with a calculator. So when I subtract -1 minus 2, it's really the same thing as a -1 plus -2, which will give me a -3. And then I've got 4 minus 5. So 4 minus 5 is going to give me a -1. Now here's the thing, if I have two negatives, it cancels each other out. So it just becomes a +3/1. And there you go, that's it. We don't have to simplify. We solved. We don't have to simplify because we've already, our fraction here is already in lowest terms. So our rise is 3 and our run is 1. Our slope is 3/1. All right, let's try another one. So we're going to find the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points. So step 1 is to label each set of points. So we have x and y, and that's my first ordered pair, so it's x1, y1. And then we have x and y, so it's x2, y2, because that's my second ordered pair. All right, let's write that slope formula. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so now we're going to fill in our formula with our labeled points. All right, up top, we do y2 minus y1. All right, so y2 is 2 minus y1, which is 2. All right, and then we're going to do our x2 minus x1. So x2 is -3 minus x1, which is 0. So -3 minus 0. All right, we filled in the formula with our labeled points, so now we solve. So we're just going to subtract straight across. 2 minus 2 is 0. -3 minus 0 is -3. Now here is a special case. If we have a 0 on top, then our slope is just going to be 0. So up here you can put that your slope is 0. There is no slope. All right, so this is going to be, just to help you remember, a 0 slope is just a horizontal line. Right, so it'll just be a horizontal line like that if we were to graph these points. All right, great job. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so for this one, we're going to find the slope of the line that passes through these set of points. So first thing, label each set of points. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, and now we're going to fill in the formula. So let's write down our formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, and then we're going to fill in our points. Okay, so y2 minus y1, so we subtract our y, which is -4, minus 6. So we have -4 minus 6 over x2 minus x1, so 5 minus 0. All right, now we're going to solve. -4 minus minus 6 is plus -6. So we've got -10. 5 minus 0 is 5. All right, we solved. Now in this one, we do need to simplify. So a number that goes into both 10 and 5 is 5. 5 goes into -10 2 times, and 5 goes into 5 once. So our final slope is -2 over 1. And really, as long as there's a negative sign, it doesn't matter if it goes with the top or the bottom, it just goes with the slope as a whole. It's a negative slope, which means it's going to go down from left to right, and it is -2 over 1. All right, so we're going to do one more example together. So we're going to find the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points. So step number 1 is to label our points. So this is our first x and y, so x1, y1, and our second x and y, so x2, y2. All right, let's write down that formula. The more we write it, the more we're going to memorize it. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so our y2 minus y1 is on top. So y2 is -1. So we've got -1 minus 1. And then our x2 and x1 on the bottom. So x2 is 6 minus x1, which is 6. All right, so -1 minus 1. So it's really going to be -1 plus -1, which is -2. And 6 minus 6 is 0. All right, so now here is another special case. If the 0 is under, if 0 is under the line, slope is undefined. All right, so please pause the video and write that down. If 0 is under the line, slope is undefined. So this slope is undefined. Okay, so we have done some practicing, and you have 4 problems that you are now going to do for homework. So what I want you to do is fill in your slope formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and then for your homework problems here, you're going to find the slope for number 1 and number 2, and for number 3 and number 4 on the next page. And then this is not, you do not need to submit it. You will just bring this to class tomorrow, and we'll review tomorrow together in class. All right, guys, great job. Use your notes to help you remember how to solve. Bye.